Alright guys, welcome back to Dash Brothers Outdoors, and welcome back to episode 6 of our complete guide on how to get started fur trapping. 6 or 7. Anyways, don't matter. In this episode we're going to be talking about locations. How to choose your locations. Everywhere from what property you're going to trap on, you want to trap on, to that one little 6-inch spot where you got to put your trap in the ground. So before we get started, we got a lot of things coming together right now. First of all, we're getting another sponsor, and you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, here we go again. Hold on, this is actually one that y'all requested when we did our giveaway video. By the way, the giveaway is still running, so go enter if you already haven't. But as you know, one of the conditions for entering the giveaway was you have to tell us what kind of videos you want to see. And I believe at least 2 of y'all said y'all wanted to see me use this new sponsor's bait and lure. And you don't know who he is yet, for all those, but some of you I'm sure probably know who I'm talking about. But the bait and lure from him is actually supposed to be getting in today, so we're going to be making that video today, along with some friends probably, because I've got some friends I haven't seen them in probably a good 4 years at least. They're coming out for the first time they've ever been out here, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm hoping they can help me with the video. And we also got a couple new pieces of equipment that I'm going to be excited to show y'all, and we may do it in the sponsor video, which will probably be the next video that's out. But anyways, that's all I can think of right now. So let's jump right into this. Locations. One of those important things that you have when it's coming to catching large numbers of animals. I mean, a lot of things come in catching, a lot of factors come in catching large numbers of animals, you know, proper traps, proper equipment, proper bait and lure, keeping your sets operational, keeping your traps properly modified, you know, all the stuff we've been talking about so far. But you can't, if you do all the rest of it just perfectly and you don't have good locations, well, it's all for nothing. So, when you're looking for land to trap on, I myself don't have much of a choice because I don't have a vehicle yet, so I trap on what I can walk to from here. And of course, I've got to get permission on it first, but we're going to talk about getting permission too. I guess I'll go ahead and throw that in right now. When you're getting permission, if you can go to the person's house, that'd be great. And if it's a farmer or something, don't go in the middle of the week when they're working. Try to, you know, go on a weekend or something. And, you know, of course, look respectable, you know, don't go dressed like a tramp or anything. Be respectful, tell them about it, you know, maybe you should bring some traps and stuff to show them, discuss, you know, why trapping is beneficial. And if they don't say yes, don't get hot about it, don't try to argue them into it. I mean, just, you know, just say, alright, thanks, if you change your mind or something, here's my number. Whatever, you don't want to just go blustering in them. Say, hey, can I trap on your land? You know, so, and of course, tell them a little bit about yourself so they don't say, who in the world is this guy, you know? And also, if you can only call them on the phone, you know, again, call them sometime when they're probably going to be available, not late in the evening, you know, when you're trying to have some family time or anything, you know, just around lunchtime or something probably. Again, days off, you know, that'd probably be the best time to call. And again, be totally respectful, introduce yourself, explain a little bit about it, and if they want to meet you somewhere, talk about it or anything, definitely, you know, set that up. And a lot of times it's nice to do something for people if, you know, they let you trap on their land. What I did, you know, I'm an author, so a lot of times when people let me trap on their land, you know, after the season, maybe I'll write them a letter, tell them, you know, the success I had, send them a few pictures, and I'll send them a copy of an autographed copy of books. So, and it just, you know, creates a nice relationship between yourself as a trapper and the landowner. So, and, you know, during the season too, don't do anything they don't want you to do. You know, if you're gonna, they say yes, you know, say, is there any place you don't want me trapping, don't want me driving on? And then again, don't tear anything up when you're out there. I mean, if you do, fix it, you know, because that's going to create a really bad relationship and put a bad mark on all trappers if you mess something up and you just don't leave it and don't fix it. So I guess that's about all for getting permissions. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments. So when you're picking your location, your farm, or ranch, or plot of land, whatever it is, use topo maps, Google Earth. I personally use Acre Value. You just go to acrevalue.com. It's free and it gives you a satellite image of the land. I mean, you can search whatever county or township you want to look around. You got your, you can just go around all over the place, look at the different land, and it'll even tell you who owns it. And if you get the little paid subscription to them, it'll even tell you how to contact the people that own it. So that's pretty nice. I just have the free version right now, so I may possibly, when I get a vehicle to branch out, I may possibly get the paid subscription to them. But and then what you want to do when you're going in there, you want to look for territory boundaries, pinch points, food and water sources, and especially if there's a lot of long-running features feeding into one piece of land, that's kind of the property you're going to want to be looking at. And same thing if you're driving down, but just driving down back roads, you know, looking at land on each side. Satellite image is going to give you a better perspective because you can actually see everything, not just what you can see from the road. And it gives you a better perspective of everything because you can see exactly how everything's laid out and what comes together. You know, you can see a lot of locations from the air. Bird's eye view is real nice. If you're going to be driving down the road, checking, you know, looking at different land around, you don't want to get pulled over by a cop or somebody because they think you're drunk or something. So go to Young's Bait and Lure's website and get one of their bumper stickers that says, "I'm not drunk, I'm scouting" on it. They sent us one that's real nice. As soon as I get a vehicle, I'm definitely putting it on one. But anyways, so territory boundaries, that's one of the things you want to look for. How do you tell what's a territory boundary? Major long-running features are often territory boundaries. Fence line, not really. You want to look for things like railroad grades. That is the #1 dispersal route and territory boundary there is. So if your land is 1.5 to 1/4 mile from railroad grade, that's definitely good location, good properties to consider. And also with major highways and interstates, rivers, power lines, like the big metal power lines, all around those are oftentimes territory boundaries and big dispersal routes. So especially if you have a lot of those things coming together in one area, you want to start looking for farms that are in the close vicinity of that, places like that, because you're going to have a lot of young dispersing in those areas. And pinch points and funnel points, I mean, this is looking on a really big scale, especially if you've got to do interstate trapping, is you want to look for land like, if there's a town right here, and like Mark June said, you know, maybe a town here and a lake here and a real close together, and then there's just country, urban areas in between. That's going to be a good macro funnel point. That's got the animals. They're going to go around that lake. They're going to go around that town. There's going to be a lot of animals in between there. And let's see, I've got a bunch of stuff written down here, so just so I wouldn't forget. And or same thing, you know, between two towns to maybe a lake and a swamp area. I mean, just big things like that. I mean, I'm sure you get the idea. Just two major things that are pretty close together that's going to funnel those animals in between there. So food and water sources. Water sources in the east aren't going to be a big deal because y'all got water everywhere. Where I'm at, we're extremely arid, dry, and water sources are a big deal around here. And you know, animals around here, they gotta have water, so they'll make adjustments in the routes they run just to go to water wherever they're going to. You know, they always patrol the outside edges mostly of their territory. They don't spend a lot of time in the core of it. They spend a lot of time on the outside. So that's, again, when you got territory boundaries, so you know where they're running mostly. So you're gonna want to track closer to there. I mean, of course, if you're seeing a lot of sun in the interior, that's good too. I mean, you know, you've got to set on the sun. But water sources, that's a big deal in dry areas. And if you got not a lot of food sources in your area, a major food source is going to be a big deal. Like for raccoons, it's going to be something like maybe where a lot of fruit grows. Maybe there's a vineyard in your area, or cornfields, stuff like that. Or for predators, you know, places like, again, the coyotes and fox especially, they'll eat a lot of fruit. Dead pits, bone piles where farmers throw out their animals that have died. If you get permission on the land, you know, first thing if you want to ask them is if they've got a bone pile food source. Or ground nesting birds roost. Like we've got some major highline runs not far from here, and when we had turkeys, there would be hundreds of them lining those big power lines. If you got an area like that, you want to set that hard and heavy, because the predators know that too. They're going to be coming there looking for an easy meal when those things come down in the mornings. So places like that. So just roughly, you got any good major water sources or food sources, you're going to want to look for sign around there. If you're looking at an individual property that's got a lot of those on it, that's going to be a plus for you. Hold on, guys. The mail carrier just showed up, and she's bringing the stuff that is coming from our sponsor, so I've got to jump off of here right quick. And in the next video, you're going to see who the sponsor is and what they sent. And you see, we got our box in, but this isn't for this video. This is for the next video. So we'll put that down. Stay tuned for the next video. So now we'll jump into intermediate locations. And this is once you decide what farm or ranch you're going to be trapping on. You get permission. You're going to want to decide what actual locations you're going to set, where you're going to put those 2, 3, 4, 5 sets maybe in. So you're going to want to look for funnel points this time on a smaller scale. If you have small roads through big timber, the coyotes especially take the path of least resistance. They're going to be going right through those. Take those roads, especially them roads run from like point A to point B, maybe from one food source to another food source, one field to another field, or maybe you have a patch of big timber here, patch of big timber here, fields in between, roads that run in between those, especially them real long roads, you know, maybe miles long. And that's what Mark June described as, you know, point A to point B places, you know. But 1 or 2 sets in between there, you're probably going to be snagging a few pretty consistently. Roads and trails at the base of steep knolls, cap rocks and stuff. Animals don't want to go over those. Going to go around the base of them. So you're going to want to look for areas like that, or if you especially have 2 knolls, the road, or a wash, or a little canyon in between there, I guess you could say. There's going to be areas that are going to funnel the animals through there as well. Dry washes, again around water sources, and I'm getting off track here, excuse me. Between large swamps, practically just like when you're looking for macro funnel points, you know, just anything except on a smaller scale. It's kind of funnel the animals into one area or through one particular area. And then for other locations, intersections and farm roads or 2-track trails, old caliche roads even. And I've even heard some people putting traps like on drags on the edge of county roads if they see a lot of signs going up and down of it. I mean, you can't set on a county road because you're going to get run over. So we got to set off to the side. You know, that's normally not very good, but you got to do what you got to do. Converging game and cattle trails, tank dams, when I say tank, you know, it means the same thing as a pond, but only Yankees say ponds, at least in this section of the country. So on tank dams, I've never sat on a tank dam, but a lot of guys have told me tank dams are a good location, especially in arid areas. In interspersion, that is the most important thing. Interspersion, that is where a lot of habitats come together. And you've got a plowed field meets a cultivated field, and maybe something like trees or brush meets that uncultivated areas, or maybe a water source like a swamp or a river or something, areas like that. There's going to be a lot of animals in that area. So alright guys, sorry for all the interruptions again. My friends who I said were going to be coming to stay for a few days, you're actually going to see them hosted in this next video. They just got here, so I had to stop it, you know, go out and get everybody set up. But anyways, we're going to jump back in here and hopefully try to pick up where we left off. So anyways, I believe we were talking about interspersion when we left. So interspersion, that's going to be where you're going to get the most animals. Most animals are running around in those where there's a lot of different interspersion. Like you get maybe to an area where you've got, like I said, real brushy areas meeting cultivated fields, or maybe a big CRP field, and then maybe you got a water source. I mean, if you had something with those three different kind of habitats, you're going to have coyotes that like to stay in the big open areas like fields. You've got the brushy area that like to hold places like coyotes, gray fox, coon and stuff. Then you got the water source. You've got water animals, you know, like coons and stuff running that. And, you know, also the other animals are going to be going there for water and also food, you know, like fish and stuff, edible stuff that goes around the water. That's going to be a really, really good place for that. So the more features you have coming together in one spot, the more traps you're going to want to put there. And also, I'm not sure what I've already mentioned in here, but you're going to want to look for tree islands and fields. I've had a lot of luck there on places like that where you've got a clump of trees in the middle of a big field, or even vice versa where you have a big wooded area and then there's a cleared spot. That a lot of things are going to loaf in that area, so you're going to want to put a lot of traps in there. And I mean, if there's like a tree island in a field, that's where things traveling across the field are going to go straight there, like I said, for shelter, food, stuff like that. Brushy edges on the edge of the field, I've caught a lot of animals, all kinds of animals on places like that. Higher edges, low bottoms. I mean, it's kind of hard to, you know, do what every kind of, you know, location there's going to be, because it's going to change a lot of times. And sometimes it's kind of a hit and miss. Set up the places. It's good location. You know, we have a lot of things coming together. Intersections and roads, brushy edges, bends and fields, outside elbows and fields, dry washes, all those funnel points that we already mentioned. And then just once you got all those set up, then you can go along. And if you have time and you're, especially if you're on a predator control job where you have to get in, get the animals caught and leave, you know, you're going to kind of want to put a lot more traps out in a situation like that than if you're actually going to be trapping for an entire season there, maybe for, you know, upwards of a month or so. You're going to want to put fewer traps in if you're going to be there for a long period of time. But if you're just going to be getting in and getting out, you want to put as many traps in and try to get as many animals caught in a short span of time and then get out of there. So if you need more places to set, I mean, then you can go and start looking more hard into the more remote spots, places that aren't just such obviously good, and start looking for sign and stuff. I mean, a lot of times you'll stumble onto a location where you just can't, you know, just looking around, you cannot tell why in the world would this be a good spot, but you end up catching a lot of animals there. Like a few years ago, I watched a DVD by Tracy Truman on gray fox trapping, and he said one of his best locations just practically in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there was nothing special running it. There was just nothing special about that location. And he ended up catching more gray fox than any place else. He was totally stumped. I mean, he's a pro, and he's like, why are they all running through here? I mean, just sometimes things can't explain themselves. But, you know, just don't give up. And when you're catching animals, a lot of animals at a spot, I mean, just look at it, you know, get a satellite image of it, and just try to figure out why they'd be running there, form a hypothesis, and then use that in different areas and see if you can maximize your catch that way. But anyways, now you're going to get down to micro location. And if you don't get your micro location right, getting macro and intermediate then locations don't do you any good. And I think that's what gets a lot of people is that micro location. They may be good at macro and intermediate. Micro, where you actually put the trap in the ground, that 1 3 to 5 inch diameter spot where the trap is actually going to go in the ground. That's what I think a lot of people have the most problem with, and I know I definitely did, especially my first 2 or 3 years trapping. And you're going to want to put your traps directly in the path of travel. Don't put it way off to the side, don't put it over there. The coyotes or the whatever animal you were after were standing right there where they made the tracks. They weren't standing over here. I mean, if it's in the middle of a road where there's tire tracks going all the time, you can't put it right there because chances are you'll pick up before you catch a coyote, and then that's not good. If you can't put it directly on the sign, the tracks, the scat, stuff like that, put it as close as you possibly can and put it on the upwind side. So when the wind's blowing across there, it's blowing that scent right into the nose of the animals that are traveling through there. But put it as close to the sign as you possibly can. You start getting way over here, you're not going to catch anything. Especially during my first few seasons, I didn't want to put them on the roads because I was deathly afraid of getting them run over. And especially since I didn't really have a way to replace my traps back then either. I mean, I understand that, but if you put them over here, you're defeating the purpose. I mean, if you're putting them 3 to 5, 10 feet over here, the sign's here, you're wasting your time. So I will gladly give a few of my traps up, be run over or whatever, and catch 15 or 20 coyotes than I will to put them over here and get 3 or 4 and not get any run over. So you got to kind of weigh the cost versus benefit, and most of the time putting it right on top of the sign, you're going to get more benefit. Even if you get some run over, stolen something, you'll have more benefit putting them right there on the sign because you'll be catching more. You get them off the travel way, if you're not catching anything, you're not doing yourself any good. So anyways, put it, if you can, put it right, like I said, right on top of the tractor sign. That way you know you're going to have it right where they're walking. They're going to be walked right over the top. You're set to go wherever they're going. And put it on the upwind side of the travel way or sign if you can't put it on, like I said, I think we already covered that. And put the trap in a bare spot. Don't be digging up lots of sod and stuff trying to put your trap in, because coyotes will not tolerate that. Get away with it with fox. You can get away with a lot of things with fox. You're going after coyotes, no. They don't tolerate you digging up sod. Why, I don't know, but if you start digging up a lot of stuff, they'll avoid that area. So, put it in the bare spot. And I mean, sometimes, most of the time, if I find even a lot of sign in an area, and it's totally solid grass, if I can't find a bare spot, I'm not setting it. Because I'm wasting my time, wasting my trap. I'll set as close to as I can, but if you dig up a lot of sod, you're defeating the purpose. So that's one of the things I think is a lot of people, and that's what I really recommend all of Mark Jr.'s DVD, because he talks about all the stuff I'm talking about and more, and he can put it in a much more entertaining and easier to understand way than I can. And he's a biologist, so he studied all this stuff. I mean, he knows his stuff. And also, Keep your backing at a minimum no higher than 5 inches. 4 to 3 is better. I mean, if you don't dig up a lot of sod, you put it in a bare spot, and don't duff the sand, don't leave it real fresh. So you're not going to have a problem if go around behind the digging, unless you just have one that's been caught 2 or 3 times and recognize that it's danger and they go around the backside and dig it. And if you have that problem, put another trap back there, put up snares leading to that location, you'll get him. You just, a lot of trapping is just persistence, you know, not giving up, just using every technique available to you. And you always gotta, you can never think that you you know it all. And I definitely don't. I've still got so much to learn myself, but I'm hoping what little I have learned and picked up from other people, that will benefit y'all as well. But the owner of Goe Trapping LLC, Mr. Barry Goe, that's one of the things he stressed to me a lot is the minute you think that you know it all, you stop learning, you stop getting better, and you start getting worse. So he recommends big time going to trapping academies as much as you can, you know, learn stuff from everybody you can, and then you can combine that and see what works for you, what doesn't, and once you develop a technique that is successful for you, that you have confidence in, stick with it and you'll have a lot of success. If you're constantly jumping in between, you know, you never have your own opinion, your own techniques that you're comfortable with, you're going to don't have confidence in, you're not going to have a lot of luck. And another part of the big deal of trapping is building up your confidence. So always learn as much as you can, get confidence in your techniques, and then your bait and lure, your equipment, everything. Get your confidence level built up, and you will have success. So I hope this helped you guys. Again, I definitely didn't hit everything. I'm not a pro, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I would love to see them, and I would answer them as best as I can. So anyways, thank you again for watching. Have good luck on your trapping season this year, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, and stay tuned for the next video that is coming out. We're going to be, like I said earlier, unboxing some stuff from a new sponsor that you guys requested, so you don't want to miss that. See you in the next video.